This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear the discussion of Mewmew TV about quiet quitting. And you will have time to answer the question on what you hear.
Have you sent me the third quarter work report yet? Don't forget to send me week's review tonight. Remember to send it. Tomorrow is the deadline.
2,000 years later.
Boss, I'm bored. I feel tired because all day push deadlines.
I quit!
This is a real case. It is actually a very trending keyword on TikTok recently. #quiet quitting.
I just got off work and I saw a video of an older gentleman talking about quiet quitting and how like our generation is just lazy and we don't want to work for anything, and how we're never going to be able to go get the brand new house or the new car because we're not putting in the extra work. Most of the videos and most of the takes that I've seen are very polarizing. It's one, just the older generation saying that the youth is lazy and whatever, and the younger generation saying that like you don't see the hard work that we're putting in. I think there's more.
I have. They don't like their jobs and they're trying to set a boundary. And so instead of going above and beyond for their job like they used to, they just decide to just do the bare minimum.
Right.
Instead of going above and beyond.
That's kind of, it feels like flashing back to what we talked about in season 3 with overemployment.
Right.
It kind of feels like a different version of that, except you stay with your same job and you just do the minimum the whole time.
I almost feel like a lot of people are just not feeling appreciated at their
Working in
job.
moderation means that we will not work at about 100 to 120% of our products, but only at 90%, which means just enough to get the job done, not do our best. Many people are labeling this laziness to younger workers and, more specifically, millennials or Gen Z. Perhaps there are more reasons behind quiet quitting than simply laziness.
The way to label the quiet quitting movement to young people is very unfair. Because whether they are Gen Z or Gen X, when they are overloaded with work, or have to do things that are not within their scope, everyone will want to rest and balance life a little more. What companies are concerned about is when that trend spreads and even takes root, becoming a way of life when people lose motivation and constantly fall into a state of wanting to give up.
These employees feel unmotivated. They cope by downsizing social and economic activities. They even feel like saying no to their superiors, and they refuse to cooperate.
The cause of this negativity does not necessarily come from the workers themselves. Wages are low, and the cost of living is high. Buying a house on our own, and buying a car is almost impossible. And eventually, 2 years of COVID forced us to quarantine, working remotely, causing workers to almost change their minds completely about whether it is necessary to go to work in the morning tonight. Some countries even record unemployment rates of up to 2 digits, so the attitude of many young people will be why try? According to CNBC, young people are now going through a sensitive economic period that can make a part of the workforce feel unresponsive and disoriented. And quiet quitting or working in moderation is the way for them to respond to these difficulties.
Finds me a freaking job. I procrastinate until the next day or tell my boss to give it to someone else to do, and there are even times when I freaking ignore it. I feel like I need a break. I don't feel like I'm interested in doing the tasks required by my boss, and I'm not motivated to work.
Instead of assuming quiet quitting is a trend, companies have actually looked at the signs of this phenomenon and offered solutions. According to the New York Times, with a labor force, 8 out of 10 corporations in the U.S. are adopting productivity tracking technology. This technology applies to each person on each working shift. As for the knowledge workforce, this measure is also being applied. Many employees, whether working from home or going to the office, are tracked. If they stop working for too long, their salary will be deducted. However, this measure can be overwhelming for some workers. But American companies said that it can help them make fairer decisions about staffing and compensation. In some Asia companies, they combine a form of parallel work. They allow employees to spend less time in the office if they still get the job done. In addition, they also apply disciplinary policies to lazy employees and increase compensation for hard-working employees. They are also advised to adopt flexible working hours policy and to respect employees' days off. And soon, millennials and Gens will also be the main workers in the labor market. They will bring a new mindset of work and dedication, so companies should incline flexibility and freedom for the positive contributions of employees.
This is the end of the Mewmew Listening Test 2022. Now you will have 5 minutes to transfer your answer to the answer sheet.